ensure documents or anything that was inside relevant to console, and he had a media blackout for 1 hour and allowed me time to get out to the unit. I went to the company solicitor. We were accompanied by the Gardaí. We broke the lock, gained entry, and we have taken all the contents.
What size is this lockup, David?
10 by 8.
So it's big enough. It can accommodate a good deal of material. Was it documentation or computers, or what was there?
I think it's fair to say, Mary, and you'll appreciate it, we're back in with Justice Gilligan tomorrow, and
I do.
Given the order granted, he needs to get a list of what was there. There was a significant amount of material relevant to the running of any business.
What's your cash flow like?
Cash flow's not great, Mary. So this has been an operational nightmare.
Staying with the money, you told us, I think the last day I spoke to you, that you'd found a bank account in Galway with, was it 15,000 in it? And since then there's been houses, was it in Galway and elsewhere? Are you still finding new bank accounts, new credit cards, further properties?
I think I'm going to just... it's very hard to explain, very, very hard for people to understand. But there needs to be very radical, immediate decisions made this week, and no more sitting on hands, no more sitting on backsides. Clear, decisive decisions need to be made.
Back of the court during the proceedings, while her husband Paul was not present, a solicitor for the Kelly family told the court that he'd been admitted to a psychiatric institution. Meanwhile, the Office of the Director of Corporate Enforcement has launched a criminal investigation into the charity.
I got correspondence yesterday through the solicitors, and the meeting will take place today, Pat. So that's all we can say at the moment in respect to what happens next. I don't actually know what happens next. Going back to core business to establish how much money we have, how much the business costs to run, what outstanding liabilities there are, and to try and establish a safe and sound footing. So in parallel, I've also had a phone call and correspondence yesterday from the Revenue Commissioners who want to carry out an inspection next week. So there are many aspects of this happening at the same time.
Now, in the lockup, there were obviously documents found and files and all the rest of it. Were there any shocks and surprises in that content?
I don't know. We've had a cursory look. There's 300 files. Just to give you an example of the volume, Pat, there are 300 hanging files, as was in my affidavit for Justice Gilligan yesterday. There were 40-odd box files and 30 or 60-odd desk files, keys, a laptop, briefcase, receipts, number of bags of receipts, various other documents and leaflets and photographs. So I've had a cursory look to see if there's anything substantial there. It is a significant undertaking to go through all of that. There will be a significant look back and an audit and investigation by all relevant bodies can enjoy all of that. As I say, there's a significant amount of work to be done there. The key and crucial component are establishing what our liabilities are. Last year there were 5,680 odd one-to-one counselling sessions. There are 29 phone calls to the suicide helpline every day. That's what I'm focused on the next couple of days.
Now, the Minister of State at the Department of Health, Helen McEntee, she had previously said that no HSE funding was given to the charity this year. Corrected this to indicate to the Social Democrat TD, Catherine Murphy, that there had been €321,498 in HSE funding given to Console in 2016 alone.
That's correct. And, there's a slogan that one of the household stores uses: when it's gone, it's gone. There's an immediacy around this.
On the superficial inspection of the stuff that you got in the lockup, I mean, you mentioned a lot of receipts. Were they receipts or copies of receipts handed out to people who'd made donations?
Both donations and in relation to receipts for expenditure.
No, I'm just concerned about, people are given a receipt, the cash comes into Console but doesn't actually end up in a Console account. That's, or perhaps in an account that you don't even yet know about.
Yeah, and that's a matter I'll come back to.
All right, now the question of the Kellys and their cooperation, their apparent initial cooperation with you, and then the tip-off for the lockup, it puts them firmly in the dock.
There was a request made, is this everything? And, visually it didn't look like everything, but the question was asked in front of the company solicitor. The answer was yes, bar maybe a checkbook down in Cork, and this is all in the affidavit. It was put before Justice Gilligan yesterday. And then the tip-off came, and we got, as the order on Monday to break open the lock and enter the unit in Naas, and thereupon we found nearly 400 different files. So in those circumstances, I don't think anyone could trust the person. From the historical stuff has been and will be very, very painful, Pat. for the entire charitable sector, for those who donate to charities and who donate specifically. So, but there's a cohort of people that are in a very vulnerable position here, and they are people who've lost someone to suicide.
Paul Kelly himself, he is under psychiatric care. Seemingly he emerged from it briefly to instruct his legal counsel. It does appear incredibly convenient that he should be in psychiatric care at the moment.
And this will drag on for a long, long time.
Now, I spoke to Tommy Morris this morning just to give us a recollection of what he says he said to James Riley at that time when James Riley was Health Minister.
And I went on to tell the story, in bullet form, that Paul Kelly had a history of impersonating, being a medical doctor, being a priest, being a fundraiser, being a psychologist. I had met him in Grafton Street dressed as an airline pilot from Aer Lingus in an Aer Lingus uniform. James Riley said to me, he kind of looked at me in some sort of amazement, and the minister rang his private office and came back to me and he gave me the name of an official in the department, a principal officer. I clearly recall telling the minister this was a very serious matter.
This is the impersonation of a hospital doctor. Remember, Paul Kelly worked as a medic under false pretences in Baggot Street Hospital for 3 weeks.
I suppose there's still questions unanswered here. What are they?
This, I think, raises a whole load of questions. If the department called in Paul Kelly over what were very serious allegations, and this is a man whose charity was been giving substantial funding, why did they not inform the minister? If they did inform the minister, and it should be said, we've asked them, why didn't you inform the minister? They said, the nuance here is they said they actually aren't sure if they informed the minister or not. They don't know. There seems to be a question over the paper trail here. If they didn't tell him, why not? If they did tell him, why does the minister not recall it?